So very, very warm welcome to you, Pramod. Thank you for joining us. And I very quickly, for the benefit of our viewers, want to say, why did I choose Pramod to be one of the people I want to interview? The reason is that I see him as a trailblazer. I mean, there are hundreds of entrepreneurs out there, but what stands out is a person whose journey will be quite inspiring for people who are watching us. He started from, he came from a background which has nothing to do with business, and he chose to be an entrepreneur, and a very, very successful one. He pioneered the concept of CCTVs in India and started a company called Zycom eventually, which became a very big company. But that's not the only reason why I want to talk to him. The reason I want to talk to him is first time when I met him, he said something which impressed me a lot. He said, first 25 years of my life, learn. Next 25 years of my life, earn. And the next 25 years of my life, return. And in my subsequent talks with him, I found that he's actually living that, he's walking the talk. So without much ado, let me ask you my first question, Pramod. Why, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
My schooling days and my college days, I realized that I had this leadership quality in me. Anything happening, I was the first. Cricket में first opening batsman, bowling में first bowler. तो ऐसा बहुत सारा चीज हुआ. And I felt I had the leadership quality. I had a family meeting, spoke to my mom, dad, and my wife. I said, hey, listen, I want to get into entrepreneurship. They said, what is this? Why are you getting? We are a middle class people. We are salaried people. Don't try all this stunt. But I was able to convince them, and that's where my entrepreneurship journey started in 1988 when I introduced fax machines in the country.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about that. Tell me about your entrepreneurship journey. Because I can see that when I had a little touch with you back then also, back in the 90s when, you had a partner called Fritz, I believe.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
And very, very few people had heard of fax machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yet you chose that.
Yeah.
I mean, what made you choose a fax machine?
So,
of all things to sell.
So when I got into business life, the first thing I said to myself, that I am not going to copy what others are doing in their life. My businesses has to be completely new, innovated, and I'm going to focus on doing new things which others have never tried. So in 1988, we bought fax machines when fax machines were like a washing machine, huge. And in those days, Sukhdeepak, it was costing 2 lakh rupees.
Yeah, right.
Lot of money. And लेने के बाद मैं किसको बेचूं? उसके बाद में तो fax machine होना चाहिए. So we started with that fax machine. It became a super duper hit. After that, in 1994, the telecom revolution started. Pages आया, mobile आया, modems आए. So I got into that business also. Then in 1995, incubated Zycom with cameras and rest of it. So my genre has always been innovation. I've always been doing things first than anybody else.
So what was the driving force for Zycom particularly?
In 1992, Honorable Prime Minister then was Mr. Manmohan Singh. He opened the economy in the country. Globalization and liberalization took place in the country. Also, around that time, the telecom industry also started taking off. Pager aaya, mobile aaya, all those things. And in 1993, if you remember, Sukhdeep, there was a series of bomb blast in Bombay.
Yeah.
Bombay Stock Exchange के पास हुआ, Plaza Cinema के पास हुआ, तो काफी सारे bomb blast भी हुए. तो मुझे लगा security industry and telecom industry ये दो चीज बहुत अच्छी चलेगी बोलते. So that is how I got into the business. In Zycom, the com stands for communication. So mobile phone, pages, modems. So that was one part. Then in 1995, I went to United States to search for security hardware because मैं एक चीज बहुत clear था कि मैं मोबाइल बेच के एक कंपनी नहीं बना सकता हूँ because it's a trading business. मेरा उसमें कुछ भी नहीं है. I'm working on margins. So in 1995, I went to US. I met a couple of companies, had very interesting conversations about India and the security market. They told me India is a poor country, it's a country of snakes and elephants, people are so poor, and why would you need security when you're so poor? Because the image at that time was a third world country. But काफी convince करना पड़ा, and then I came back to India. We launched cameras, we launched home alarm systems, and so on and so forth. And as luck could have it, the first few years were very tough, and then the business took off. So Zycom ka driving force was basically the bomb blast that took place in 1993. Also, liberalization and globalization that was taking place in the country. A lot of MNCs started coming into the country. And I knew somewhere that one day this market is going to be big. And I think we have been proved right, because today the market is close to more than $2-3 billion in India. Abhi pan wala bhi camera laga raha hai. Everybody's putting cameras. It's very ubiquitous now. You go wherever there's cameras out there.
Okay. So you are not a technical person, right? By qualification. Correct?
I'm not.
Yeah, and yet you are running, all your businesses have been tech businesses. So how do you manage it without having the tech background?
I fantasize. I like to fantasize. So when I fantasize, I do the thinking, and there are some good professionals in the market who convert that idea into a product. That is how always it has happened. Then regular pivots in the business, as we move, as we progress, regular pivots take place, sometimes 4, sometimes 6, sometimes 10. So these pivots help us to realign, re-strategize, remodel the business that we are doing. Then a heavy dependence on consumer feedback, consumer insights about what we are doing, whether they're liking it, they're not liking it, what more they're expecting from it, those type of things. And last thing, the real success, in my opinion, is when the rubber hits the road, is when you make your product integral to the customer's life. It has to be integral. And unless it doesn't become integral, you don't see scale. So we try to focus, how do we make our services, our products integral to customers' life? So yes, I'm not a technical guy. I've never gone to any engineering college, nor have I gone to any management college, both. But I think a fair amount of ideation, a fair amount of visualization, and a fair amount of hunch about this may work is what I always depended on. And so far I have been successful in it.
Sure are successful, very. Now let's talk about return phase of your life, because the new venture that you started sounds more like you want to give back to your elders and give back to senior citizens and all that. So can you tell me a little bit about this new business and what's so unique about this business that you're giving for senior citizens?
So what I did was, we went and met around 500 senior citizens across the city of Mumbai. On Carter Road, on Bandstand, on Priyadarshini Park, on Chowpatty, we went and met all of them. And we tried to speak to them to find out what are their current problems. We identified that there are 10 serious problems in this country senior citizens face. There are approximately 150 million senior citizens in this country, out of which 15 million are staying alone. Children are pursuing careers abroad. And around 10 million senior citizens are suffering from dementia. So therefore, we felt that we need to do something for them. And that's how we ventured into this new business model, where we humanize safety for senior citizens. We provide them 10 life safety services: ambulance, dementia care, personal counseling, getting back the lost items. Like that, 10 services we created, and all these services are delivered by a 24/7 safety station. Most importantly, make a difference in the lives of the senior citizens in their golden years.
Okay, now another one, very important, I think, for anybody who's listening to you. Now, people like you will definitely experience their share of disappointments and failures. So how do you deal with that?
Ask me that. Because I have seen success, I have seen failure. I mean, it's a roller coaster ride for me. But very honestly, it's a very hard battle out there. It looks very easy, when you go to sleep at night, those sleepless nights, those tension, the stress that you give yourself and to your family also in that process. So, but I also realized, Deepak, that failure is not a bad word. I love failures. Honestly, I'm telling you. It teaches you so many things that success never teaches you. I saw success and success and success in Zycom, and towards the end, I saw failure. And what I learned in my failure, I never learned in my success. How friends look at you, how people look at you, how your own people look at you, how your employees look at you, how your business partners look at you, how the world looks at you. Suddenly everything changes. And a lot of issues related to self-confidence, self-trust. The same guy, one day rock star, second day there's no star around us. So those things are happen, I think, to most entrepreneurs. It's not only to me, it happens to most entrepreneurs. The only thing I did was I stayed strong and I stayed focused, because somebody told me, once you give up, the battle is over. But if you don't give up, there's always hope. And we all live in hopes. Every single day we get up with hopes. So I don't allow my hope to die. So that is where I come, and that is how I psych myself every morning. Today is another day. Thank God you're alive. Go out and battle it out. So we do that.
Wonderful. Now, the great management thinker, Dr. Shumantro Ghoshal, said that, highly successful people have two qualities. One is high energy and high focus. Yes. So you already mentioned about the focus part of it. You stay focused despite whatever might happen, right? How do you keep your energy up?
So I practice the 6 F's of life. Okay. The first F is focus. I have to be focused in whatever I do. The second thing, I have to be flexible, because rigidity doesn't work today's world. The third is I have to be very fast. The world is all about being very fast. The next is having fun. If I'm doing something, I should enjoy it. It should be fun in it. Number 5th, very important, to be very fit. And the 6th thing is, if I don't do all these 5s and these 5s don't synchronize, I just fish out from that place. I don't stay there anymore.
And one more thing, I heard from you when we were talking that you are very passionate about your Harley and taking off on your motorcycle. How do you make time to go off on your slow motorcycle journeys?
Wow, I think everybody has time. It's only how you prioritize your time and what you love. If you love something, you will always find time for it.
What advice would you give to now the new, startups and new entrepreneurs that are popping up all over the place?
One simple advice. I'm nobody. I'm also normal entrepreneur. I think my advice is lage raho. So be focused. Don't give up, because many a times when we're about to achieve success, we say, both ho gaya, chhod dete isko.
So you're at the tipping point, many people give up. Yeah, you're right about that.
I have done it many a times, but luckily for me, I pull back. So pull back is very important for success, because I believe the whole race of humanity today, 7 billion people, wake up every morning with a hope that today something is going to happen in my life. I think we chase two things, 2H. One H is happiness and one H is hopes. Without these two things, life is zero. So that's what my answer would be to all entrepreneurs. Don't give up hopes and don't stop chasing happiness, because they're interrelated. And hamesha lage raho. If not today, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, your time will come when you will be shining. Rise and shine every day. That would be my mantra to them.
Thank you so much. Anything you'd like to say as your last words?
Well, I must thank you, Subdeepak. I think you calling me and wanting to speak to me is itself an honor for me.